All right, how about cancer update? I want to thank everybody that has reached out and wish me their condolences and good luck and all that stuff. For those who do not know, in November of last year, I was diagnosed with rectal cancer, stage 3. That was diagnosed with a blood test, a random, poop in the cup test. I found some blood. Never noticed any blood in my stool, on the toilet paper, anything like that, ever, not a drop. It was positive in this test. I had to take a colonoscopy subsequently to that, which I didn't fast enough, so I had to take another colonoscopy, which verified that, in fact, you have stage 3 rectal cancer. Kind of a little shocked to hear that, as everybody knows, when you find out, hey, you got cancer, right? So what is the difference? Let's look at it first here. I think I showed this diagram in another video, but I don't know how well you can see that, but it is, I think this thing here, whatever. I think this is the best. I think it's about, you see that, This is the old poop chute here, and this is, it looks like it's the size of a pencil eraser. That was 6 months ago. How big it is now, I don't know. But what we've done is, first of all, met with a surgeon. It's kind of stunning to go from think you're fine to you're going to stage 3 rectal cancer and surgery, right? So this diagram, I think I showed in the other video too, was the notes of the surgeon. Super bright guy, but ultimately, as you can see in this part of the diagram, maybe where, like right here. So ultimately, the difference between rectal cancer and colon cancer, you draw a line across the pelvis, and that tells you anything below the line is rectal cancer, anything above it is colon cancer, and they have their treatments accordingly. And the treatment I was on, first of all, was the FOLFOX regimen, pretty common for rectal cancer. That's folinic acid, fluorouracil, and oxaliplatin. Basically, it was once every 2 weeks. Sit in a chair with a bunch of other folks, and they all have their own chair, obviously. And a little drip bag beside you as it pumps it right into you. It took about 2.5 hours. Sit there and watch TV while you're doing it. It's pretty weird. I guess I would say I was one of the younger guys in there, 55 years old. A lot of women in there. I want to say that. Maybe 65, 70% of them women. And it only seemed to be the women that were losing their hair. As you can see, after 6 or 7 months, I didn't lose much of my hair. But that is a fact. And just because I have my results doesn't mean everybody else has a similar reaction. Side effects, for me, not much, man. Neuropathy was a big one, though. I will say that. The oxaliplatin, the stuff you get in the drip bag. Neuropathy, weird, in that you touch things that are cold and it kind of makes your hands tingle. Really weird. Like if you've ever stood up too fast sometimes and you hate that blood rush or that tingling in your legs, it's exactly what it's like in the fingers. And as a chef at the time, done, man. The amount of time I spent in a deep sink, in the fridge, in the freezer, sharp knives, just couldn't do it. And a debacle with the company too, man. Got 0 from the company. Just won't throw them under the bus, wrong place, but just the financial ramifications, as we'll get into here pretty quick, but kind of give you a little background. The regimen of FOLFOX was 8 weeks long, so I would take this stuff for 2.5 hours, and then they give me a little pump that I stuck on my, it was like in a little bag or whatever that you, like a little purse you carry around for 2 days. Obviously, it's kind of hard to go back to work when you're pumping chemo into you. Yeah, and let alone trying to apply for jobs while you're doing that is like off the chain. It's just not going to happen. So then the financial ramifications. When the paychecks stop, the damage usually starts. We'll get into some of that too. The pump thing, I'd carry this thing around for like 2 days, and honestly, half the time it didn't work. The alarm would go off and it'd stop working. The final time I went in there, and it hadn't pumped anything into me, so they gave me some of this stuff called capecitabine. I think I say that right. Oral pills that are the same stuff, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, so that went on for 4 months, right? 8-week cycle. Then I just got off the radiation last week or so, and kind of, the CAT scan, the MRI, the radiation, it's all the same thing. It's like this giant donut hole that you kind of like slide in a bed through it, and it makes this noise. It only lasted 5 minutes max. You come back out, jump off the thing, and the next guy comes. The technician there, get a chat with some of these folks. Guy told me that they run about 50 people a day through there, and the place was packed. It really was, man. Those guys are just running folks through there. So the part that I kind of want to talk about is the financial aspects of it. You really don't get to hear a lot of that because, America's all about making money, but nobody seems to talk about it other than beating their chest of how much they have, right? When you don't have money or you're in debt, you have a shitty credit score, people keep those cards pretty close to their vest, right? I've always said that. People celebrate in public and they suffer in private. Not saying I have not been guilty of that myself in life, but now let's consider this a public safety announcement on my behalf, my good deed, so to say. A little information. I deserve it, to say the least. The tab. So I just calculated it. I do keep all of the receipts, really, and up to today, $51,383. I am paying zero. I'm a service-connected veteran, so gives you a good idea how valuable that is, right? Everybody's in there with insurance or Medicare or vets in there or people on Medicaid. I mean, I don't think anybody's getting any better treatment. Let's start there. And, at $50,000 and we haven't even done the surgery yet, it really makes you wonder, how is this that expensive, So I'm talking to the radio-oncologist, super bright guy, went to the University of Iowa too. I studied political science and he studied the real science. Well, nonetheless, he says he wrote a paper on financial toxicity, him and a couple other docs. And he let me read it. He printed it off and gave it to me. It's about 4 or 5 pages, kind of scholastic, academic kind of writing that I think I responded to in a pretty lengthy piece. But the reality of the matter is, in the shortest amount of words, all the money's made in treating symptoms. You don't make any money treating preventative medicine. You really don't. And I used a few analogies with them, and it's just impossible to say that the education system and the healthcare system are not completely in bed together. And you can't charge the prices that you do to educate doctors without them turning around and subsequently screwing over everybody in the process of reimbursing themselves. It's like I told the doctor, I don't have any problem with doctors being the most heavily compensated people in America. Usually they're the smartest people in the room. They usually have pretty good people skills, and they can save your life, which is better than most of us are doing, right? The problem is the results are terrible, you know? Look at the homeless shit. Look at the fentanyl. Look at the obesity, the diabetes, the heart disease. And I just went on, you know, about the SNAP benefits, you know. How is that all these unhealthy, stupid people are still allowed to buy garbage food on SNAP benefits? How is it that we have to sit here and watch just the most ridiculous pharmaceutical commercials leading everybody to ask your doctor now, you know? I'm like, how do you feel about that as a physician? I just rolled his eyes, you know. I'm like, yeah, you know, so part of my little homework, the paper that I wrote, you can read it on my website if you read my stuff. It's one of the last ones I wrote, but to compare it to two things. Adam Smith's Wealth of Nation, 1776, kind of a bedrock of American capitalism. He was an economist that basically created the playbook, so to say, with rents and labors and property and all that other boring stuff. And the other is the Swedish healthcare model. I used to live in Sweden. Jag talar lite svenska faktiskt. Jag kan prata med dig. But I'm familiar with it. You know, I use it briefly when I lived there. And there was a reporter that had an article in the JAMA, the Journal of American Medical Association, that did exactly that, an analysis of the Swedish model compared to the American model, and basically said, there's no way of doing this in America without entirely collapsing the system. And it's true. It really is true. And the results aren't better here. The treatment protocols are the exact same. The education level is the exact same. But they don't pay anything to go to college. And they don't pay anything for health care. And when I mean anything, they might pay a nominal amount. But it's nothing like $51,000. Taxes, they pay about 40%, right? Across the board. So for 40% taxes, you know, probably more on the rich folks, right? But if just for the working class folks, 40% taxes. What are you paying now? 25, 30%, right? For 15% more, would you do it for free child care, free health care, free education, guaranteed pensions? I could go on and on. Yeah, it's, especially if you stay there. You'll see, you know, now, not to get into socio-political conversation, this is about health care, sjukvård, eller hur? But it's stunning in that the results. The last analogy I use with the guy is my Minnesota Vikings, right? You know, football. You can see it's a super dangerous sport, right? So when my hero is out there running the ball and he gets smoked by some other huge-ass guy, and he's laying there in the field, and all these medical professionals run out there, and they get around the guy, and they say, dude, man, that looked like it hurt. You know, that was a huge-ass guy that just smoked you. You know, rub the shit under his face. You around there, pal? Right. What is obviously the first thing a physician should say in any medical professional holding any type of credentials at all? Hey, dude, you gotta stop playing this game. It's ungodly dangerous. No, it's the exact opposite, right? We're gonna get you back in the game and throw you right out in the street again, pal. And the fans love it. Guy in the field probably doesn't care. He wants back in the game. He wants the money. Self-interest. Yeah, and what happens in the results? You know, these guys end up with CTE, or they do crazy shit, you know, when they're bashed in brains, and, you know, everybody cheers, and I love the Vikes, but, you know, it's a good analogy of results. Your self-interest, Adam Smith's invisible hand, hasn't led to great results. It has for a handful of people, but not all the people. Vast majority of them, in fact. Stories about Americans not having $400 or Americans not having $1,000. $51,000? I mean, who's paying for this? The people that are paying for it are the people that aren't using it, believe it or not. The healthcare, right? They can't make any, you make money on people that don't use it, and you overcharge people that do. That's pretty much the American healthcare system, right? So, as I bounce some of this stuff off the guy, you know, a little bit, you know, they all have like their 7 to 10 minutes of patient interaction, their software to, you know, show how they're using their medical business model efficiently. The guy kind of, you know, realized, hey, you're a fucking weird guy, but he agreed with me. He knows it's true. There's nothing you can do, man. It's bullshit. And so you're poor, and hopefully you get Medicaid, and then you're going to get the same treatment I do, pretty much. Or you're a vet and are service connected like me, and you're pretty much get the same treatment anyway. Or you're paying insurance, same deal. You got to pay out of pocket for what some of these other folks are getting for free. Yeah, and nobody wants to talk about shit like that. You know, politicians who do it and real, you know, and one-liners and stuff. But now back to the damage, right? The financial toxicity. So yeah, I'm all over the fucking internet. You know, videos and all kinds of shit I write and whatever. But yeah, I could use a job. Sure, I'm good in the kitchen and stuff. I've interviewed for 2 or 3 jobs, maybe more than that. But yeah, they see videos or whatever, and they go, "Whoa, wow, hey, not that guy." It's not just me, man. Sure, I'm a little stranger than the average guy because I write obnoxious shit and I say crazy shit. But the average guy that has, you know, a cook in the kitchen, they're crushed by this. They are the people that don't have the $1,000 or the $400, $50,000. So what happens in America is if it's over $500, that can stay on your credit report, right? So not only can Dr. Bob heal you, he can screw you after it. So if you can't afford it, then we can ruin your credit too. So in America, these wonderful folks that are in human resources doing background checks on every single minion that comes through the door, yeah, you get smoked because now your credit's damaged because you can't afford to pay some monster tab simply because you were sick or had an accident or got cancer. America. So if you are one of these employers and you're fucking seeing this, you know, video, yes, I had rectal cancer, stage 3. In about a month from now, we are going to, no, not even that, a couple weeks from now, we're going to do another MRI and another CAT scan. And the surgeon's going to look up my ass to see where we stand. Did this thing shrink? Did it go away? Or is it still there, or did it freaking grow? We don't know. 6 months into this, we can't tell. I mean, that's kind of the deal. We go through the protocol, and only at the next stage do we find out if it even worked 6 months into it. It's crazy. So, on top of this, right, this is the crucial part, right, is the surgery. So, you know, rectal surgery, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, is this guy going up my ass with some probe and, you know, zapping that thing out of there? I mean, seems logical, you know, but no, it's not how they do it. They go through your stomach and they fill it full of nitrogen or whatever, and so they got room to play around, and you know, it's outside of my wheelhouse, obviously, but, you know, there are potential side effects, quality of life, erections, to take a normal shit, to not poop in my fucking pants, right? You can find videos out there of people that are talking about colostomy bags and how they live normal lives and stuff. Yeah, not the kind of life I live. I don't know what to fucking say, but that would be a huge freaking dent in my game. Not that I have much game, but I'm just saying. On top of that, I'm looking out there on the internet, like most of you guys, you're watching this fucking video, and you got cancer, you're like wondering how you stumbled across my ass. You know, I'm out there and I see this rectal, you can look it up yourself, this rectal cancer study where immunotherapy, 42 out of 42 people in this study were completely cured from, 100% cured from rectal cancer at the exact level I'm at with some immunotherapy gig. And obviously, you have my undivided attention, right? Doctor says, well, that's a subset of something that, you know, is different than what you have. And, you know, it's always that, too. Unless you're a physician with this, you're usually going to be the dumbest person in the room. And that always sucks. I don't care what we're talking about. I hate to be the dumbest guy in the room. And that happens almost every time I'm talking to these folks. So that always sucks. But so far, the blood work is great. They keep telling me you're doing fantastic, you're healthy, everything's looking fantastic, there is still to this day. And I told them, I mean, there's no blood in my stool, there's no blood in the toilet or the toilet paper. They blasted me, and the radiant oncologist said that too, they blasted me 3 good rocks there in the end, with the radiation, and I could tell though, it feels like, there's a lot of inflammation, right? So it feels like you're shitting out of a Bic pen, it's crazy. But it's kind of going away, the inflammation's going down and stuff. So, here in a couple weeks, I guess, we're going to see if this stuff worked. And if not, God, that sucks. To pay $50,000 for some shit that didn't even work. I mean, or it may have worked, But, it is that. That's really where I am right now is what are the long-term effects? Can it be managed without surgery? Or am I thinking a little too much about potentialities that don't have a high probability? Runs through every person's mind, right? Once, everybody gets that, oh my God, I'm dying. Some people are, right? And then, it's like, is this growing or is this dying? Is this shit working or, and then, you think of the mortality piece, man, what if, what if you're watching this in a year from now, I'm already dead? I mean, not a damn thing I can do about it, But information is big, people want to know. Misery loves company, right? I see someone else out there. Well, Jace is still out there. We're not done. We're halfway fighting through this bullshit. But let me be the icon of colonoscopies. Yes, the stubborn, obnoxious Navy fucking vet, and all as I am, is now the fucking flag bearer for colonoscopies. So get your colonoscopy, and the VA, change your goddamn message from veterans trying to kill themselves to, have you got your PSA? Have you got your colonoscopy? Press 1 now. I would have responded to that. Yeah, probably. That's about it, man. I will give another update here as time goes by and things change. But for $50,000, Jace is still here. Booyah.